Hi guys, welcome back to the Forgetful Scholar. Let's chat about books. So this week is When a Ghost Isn't a Ghost, Betrothed to a Stranger, and Sympathy for the Endicotts. Okay, so I do want to start with, this week was a lot of fun with the books. So I did have a lot of fun this week. So the first book is The Spooky Life, The Spectral Files, Book 4 by S.E. Harmon. Now this follows the adventures of Rainstorm, Moondream, Moonbeam, Rainstorm, and Danny. There you go. This is an MM contemporary paranormal murder mystery. Yes. So this usually starts off because Rainstorm is a medium, and now he's getting a little bit more comfortable with his powers, his abilities, than the books before. But this ghost is a little different. She's not quite dead yet. She's actually in a coma. And she's desperate to find a woman named Cherry, who's been missing for 17 years. So that kind of starts off the mystery of this book. And again, I love the twists and turns. I love the relationship between Danny and Rainstorm. I love the secondary characters, their friends in the squad and everything like that. It's wonderful. It's a 4-star for me. I had a blast. The third act conflict, I was like, oh no, 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 oh no, 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 oh no, 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 what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen? So you know that's good. When that happens, you know it's good. So there we go. I feel a little weird having like off the shoulder shirt today because it's really kind of humid where I'm living, and I don't usually show my shoulders, so I'm a little self-conscious. So if I'm acting a little weird or a little stiff because I dared to show shoulders, oh my god. Well, let's get away from my own neuroses for a minute. So this book was 4 stars. The series overall, 5 stars. If you like a little murder mystery, a little paranormal with your romance, definitely check this out. I love the way this writer does the characters because it's so easy to make Rainstorm. He's a profiler for the FBI. He has a doctorate. He's brilliant. Like, it's so easy to make him a very certain stereotype, you know? And Danny is a detective, and it's so easy to make him as well a stereotype. But what I love is that, yes, Rainstorm is a profiler, but also he's addicted to sugar, and he's sloppy. And Danny is a cop, but he's, he hates mess. He's kind of a neat freak. And he's stubborn, but also a great sense of humor. You know what I mean? And Rainstorm's snarky and sarcastic. So, like, I love how the writer is able to do this, even with secondary characters that only have like maybe 5 pages in the book. You do get a sense of their personality, and that's amazing. And I think the whole paranormal aspect of it, how they're doing, is very fascinating to me. It's very interesting how they do the ghost and how the ghost can communicate and what powers Rainstorm has and things like that. And the writing style, thirsty. And the writing style, I really enjoy it. It kind of has this comfortable, casual feel, like your best friend is excited and telling you a story. They're so excited about the story and they can't wait to tell you. You know, that's what it feels like something familiar and nice about it. Like I said, your best friend telling you a story that they're excited about. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm really going to check out more from this author. This series is 5 stars. I hope they do more with Rainstorm and Danny. I absolutely adore them. All about it. And like the ending was like, oh, that is like the cutest, most perfect thing for them. That is totally them. You'll get what I mean when you read it. I hope you read it. So that one is the first one of this week. And the second one is Betrothed to a Stranger, and it's FM historical romance, and it is a reread. I read this once in about high school. I think is a continuation of a book from last week, where I believe it's called You Belong to Me, where Titania was the missing princess and she was in America, and Stefan and his entourage went to go get her. So this is the cousin Vasily, who was like the gorgeous cousin, but was like purposely arrogant and mean to Tanya so she wouldn't fall in love with him because of his face. And this was released in 1994. And this is You Belong to Me by Johanna, Lindsey. There we go. No step back, which is really upsetting because there's like a little picture of what that probably would have looked like over here. So that's pretty upsetting. A classic Fabio cover. Come on, we love it. So this is Vasily, who is the cousin to Stefan from the last book. So he is captain of the Royal Guards. And yes, he's gorgeous, and he's arrogant, and he's spoiled. But he's also fun, loyal, and a really nice guy. So he's also kind of a womanizer. Not kind of, he is a womanizer. Boy's a hoe. You know, that's fine, you know. But what I like about this book, you don't open up on him having sex with somebody else. I hate that. That's such a pet peeve of mine. It's just, you know, women come easily to him. They fall all over him because he's just gorgeous, you know. This is a 4-star. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as his cousin's book because this was a very tropey book to me, but I still had fun. So it's a 4-star. I enjoyed it. I still had fun. And this is definitely like forced betrothal thing. So anyway, you know, Vasily's womanizing, everything like that. And then he gets a notice that, hey, you were betrothed at birth to this woman named Alexandra, and it's time to marry her, go get her. And he didn't know about this. And Alex, or Alexandra, Alex, she's kind of a tomboy for this era. This is like 1800s, make-believe Eastern European country. She's kind of a tomboy, but she's smart and feisty and kind. She has a temper, and I like that that temper kept throughout the whole book. And I liked how in the beginning it annoyed you because it was supposed to annoy you, but then you're like, oh, that's just Alex. You know, it's kind of a thing. So she doesn't want to marry a stranger either. So they, both of them, concoct this plan to make the other person break it off with them. So they both decide to turn up their worst personality traits to like 11. And if you get that Spinal Tap reference, I love you. Anyway, they decide to turn up their worst personality traits as far as it can go. You know, and then add some new ones. Like for her, like not having table manners and eating like a barbarian, you know, things like that. She's a tomboy, but she really turns it up, you know, because she knows how to be a lady too when the time comes for it. Because her family is affluent, you know, and things like that. So I enjoyed that it wasn't like an affluent family at this time, and she was just like complete tomboy, because that just doesn't ring true to me. Anyway, and he turned up the arrogance and the lazy, and he's so beautiful that she just assumes he is like a lazy popinjay. Like she doesn't know he's captain of the guards, you know, and stuff like that. She thinks he's useless, and he wants her to think that. He turns that up, you know what I mean? A lot of tropey stuff happens, including a kidnapping. I will say it didn't have as much political intrigue as the first one, which makes sense because they're not the royal family. They're just, you know, he's the king's cousin. Like, there's not a lot of that, which completely makes sense. I think I just really love Titania over Alex. I liked Alex fine, but there's something about Titania that she burrows in your heart a little bit. So I think that's why that one's a 5-star and this one's a 4-star. The ending's happy because Johanna, Lindsey, thank you very much. Can always count on her for a happy ending. Basically they hate each other, but they're attracted to each other, but they don't want to admit it until like a kidnapping happens, and then they realize, oh no, this is the one for me. Like, a lot of stuff happens. It's really cute. I enjoyed myself, and I'm really happy this week I enjoyed myself, because last week it's hit or miss, but the 2 weeks ago was hit or miss. So this week I'm happy I enjoyed myself. And the third book is Sympathy for the Endicotts, which is Balefire, a Whyborne and Griffin novel 10 by Jordan L. Hawk. And we know we love Jordan L. Hawk on this channel. We do not speak badly of this writer because they are amazing. This is book 10, which is kind of crazy. I don't think I've read a series that had that many books in it before. But I really enjoyed myself. This is Griffin and Whyborne, obviously. And they have to go to... Well, they don't have to, but they've agreed to go to the Endicott estate because something has happened. Now, if you read the previous ones or know the previous ones, the Endicotts are a family loosely related to Whyborne that are hunters, like supernatural hunters. And this is MM, historical paranormal, Cthulhu. This is a 5-star, well, 4 stars because it's a series, but I loved it. Just like all the other ones, pure 4 stars, love it. Because I don't give this. I try not to give 5 stars for books in a series until the series ended, because you never know how the series is gonna go, right? That being said, the Whycotts are a pretty bigoted family, and it's so fascinating how this writer can take something that you think would be the good guys and you root for them and turn them on their head because they're extremists, and you're like, ooh, I'm uncomfortable with this. You know what I mean? So their family has been taking over what they believe is cultists. So they go agreeing to help them for exchange for information for the codex that hopefully can decipher how they can fight back the monsters. Well, the masters. And the masters are basically the Cthulhu gods that want to come back into our world. No one wants that. Well, cultists wants that, but good guys don't want that. Rupert was in the last book, and he is an Endicott. He is an African-American gentleman. Very cultured, very learned, and he seems less radical than Hetty, who is another Endicott. She is like the bronze to Rupert's brains, and I think you're supposed to hate Hetty because she keeps swallowing Whyborne, an abomination, all this stuff. But she is the bronze to his brains. And Endicott seems, like I said, less radicalized. And as the book goes on, I like how you see him realize that the doctrine that he's been fed to his whole life is off, is wrong, and was created incorrectly. Like, it's fantastic. And through this whole series so far, I hated the Endicotts as soon as, like, after their book that they showed up, and I think in the 3rd book. I despised them, hated them, all a bunch of racists, whatever. And this one made me sympathy for the Endicotts, and I hate it. I'm like, no, why are you going to make me feel bad for them? And they do. This writer does. It makes you feel bad for the damn racist Endicotts that call Whyborne, who's the sweetest, an abomination. Like, you feel bad for them. And I'm like, well, I don't want to feel bad for them, but you do. Because this writer is fantastic. So, I was surprised how long in the book it took to actually get on Balefire, which is where the Endicott family estate is. Like, I feel like you don't really get into the meat of the fighting and the estate until like half of the book. But the thing is, this book flies by. It absolutely flies by. One thing that annoyed me about it has nothing to do with the story or the writer or anything, is that my Kindle kept resetting me to like page 118, even when I was in page like 230. I was like, what are you doing? That was annoying me. It was probably user error, 100% user error, but man, that was ticking me off. It was. So basically, in this one, so in these books, they fought off Cthulhu monsters before, H.P. Lovecraft type monsters before, and in this one, they have to fight off, there's no way I could pronounce it, but basically the messenger for the outsiders, the Cthulhu gods that want to come back, and it's like the god of magic. So they have to actually go head to head with it. That was a fantastic fight scene, and it took a couple of chapters, and I don't mind that because like the pace, they kept up the pace really fast, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Yeah, pow, boom. I was excited about the fighting. Like, it made me interested. It kept me going, even though it was like, I want to say 4 to 6 chapters this fight took place in. It kept me going, and it was the 3rd final conflict. And even because it goes from Griffin to Whyborne's perspective, even when it switches perspective, and like Griffin's part of the fight scene was much more running, chasing, dodging, slicing, and Whyborne's was more like he was inside Morgana's needle, like basically like becoming one with the universe to fight off this monster. There was still a sense of urgency and pace to it that I really, really liked, because the Endicotts, in their stupidity, built on top of an old city of the Masters, which are again the outsider Cthulhu gods. And on top, and then what connects the old city to Balefire is what's called the Morgana Needle, or Morgan's Needle. And and that is like a source of power for the god of Cthulhu, god of magic, because he is the first servant created by the masters. So when they left this plane, they took their energy with him, and he had to follow. It had to follow. I shouldn't give it a gender. It's an it. It had to follow. I'm calling it an it because it's like 8-armed tentacle thing. Okay. It's a Cthulhu god monster. I think I could call it a nit. Okay? Even though like I feel almost guilty calling it a nit. Okay, anyway, moving on. So the needle is a sort, like, it gets its power from the needle. So there's a lot of like becoming one with the universe and the creature that's trapped inside the needle to stop it. And yet the pace was fun, the pace was going, the pace was interesting. I like the ending, especially since like it seems like the series coming to end. I think it's 11 book, one more book, and then there's a couple like shorter like side adventures for the couple. And part of me is really excited to finish the series. The other part of me is like, I don't want to. I'm gonna miss these stories. So it's kind of back and forth. I have to remind myself that this writer has other series that they're working on that I enjoy. So, but this writer's fantastic. They just do a great job, because in the last book, Whyborne's older brother, Stanford, tried to kill him and his twin sister, Persephone. And their parents, both Hannibal, who I would like to say is an absolute badass. In this book, she's freaking awesome. Like, you know, went against him. And in this book, you see how the grief of losing their first son hits both of them, including Niles, who in the first book was working for a cult that was trying to take over the world. But like, since then, you feel bad for him and you like him, because unlike Griffin's family, who are God-fearing folk and good people, he instantly accepts Griffin as part of his family, as, you know, his son's husband. You know what I mean? So it's just fascinating how this author can make these complex characters. You hate them one book, you sympathize and feel bad for them for this one, because it seems like Niles has aged 10 years because, you know, he realized his oldest son killed his daughter, tried to kill his younger kids, and he helped to kill or to stop his son, which trapped him in the outside. So he's probably dead. So like the guilt of it, you know what I mean? Oh, I love these books. I really love these books. Every time someone's like, oh, romance novels are just fluff, I'm like, oh yeah? Oh yeah? You know, first of all, don't be talking shit about what I like to read. Second of all, try reading these books from some of these amazing independent authors and see how they're bending perceptions and changing gender roles. And it's fantastic. I'm here for it. I love every second of it. I went on a little bit of a rant. It must be the humidity. I'm not used to it anymore. So that's it for today. I don't want to, but it's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.